Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Spark on today. Hope you're doing fantastic. Hope your day is moving in the right direction, that you are up and at it and getting after it like you always do, that you have the proper focus, the vision, and you're moving forward into great and wonderful things. I'm Coach David. I'm super excited to be here with you on today. Had a little technical difficulty, but you know what? We stay with it, we be consistent and persistent, and we overcome and we get the job done. So, hey, today I want to ask a favor of you. There's something new with Facebook where you can give stars to a broadcast or to a live feed. I'm going to ask you to do that for me on today. I'm also going to ask you right up front to share this with somebody, give the stars, share this with somebody. Also, I'm going to ask you if you are watching this by way of replay, just hit an R so I know that you're getting it. And also do the same thing, share, hit the stars, all that great thing. We really, really appreciate your support. And that is one way you let us know that, hey, we're hitting home and we're providing something to you that's of benefit. All right. So today I'm going to talk about this thing called fear. In other words, we're going to deal with fear on today. Now, when I start talking about fear, I know that fear can go in one of two ways. You can either be what we call the scared type of fear, that natural emotion rising in the presence of danger. In other words, trying to get you away from danger. That's the type of fear. Or you could have reverential fear, awe of something or awe of someone. Now, I want to help you understand this, that a lot of times we get fearful of things and it stops us. It slows us down. It hinders us. And over the last few weeks, we've been talking about increasing that thinking big, going for bigger and better things. So I want to encourage you on today to get away from the fear, because many times that's exactly what we do. We get fearful of something and then we slow down or we don't do it at all. And fear can stop you from living your very best life. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have your very best life and to live it. And that means that you're going to have to get out of the fear and you're going to have to get after it. So on today, I'm going to deal with it. Let's talk about it. Fear, for the purpose of our lesson on today, I'm going to deal with it in three particular places. Okay. And we are fearful of people. We are fearful of certain places, and we're certainly fear of parts or things. There's certain things that we're fearful of. Now, I won't get all of this done on today, but I want to really, really kind of drill down on some things to help you get over the fear. I want you to think about some of the things that may be hindering you or stopping you, that you are fearful of, that's stopping you from doing what you want to do, stopping you from having your best life. And I want to share with you how you can conquer and overcome fear. And it can be done. Trust me. We all have fear. That's another thing. A lot of people will tell you, no, I don't deal with fear. I'm not scared of anything. Well, that's not exactly true. We all, whether it's a mild type of fear where we come from the anxiousness of butterflies and things of that, or it's where we're just flat out scared of something, afraid of something. Fear, for the purpose of our discussion, we're going to talk about it and we're going to get an understanding of what it really is. Now, I will tell you, fear is real. It does exist, but it can be conquered by certain things. So what are those things? All right. So let's talk about it from this standpoint. Excuse me. What is the opposite of fear? The opposite of fear is confidence. Right. Let's ask this question. Where do I get confidence from? Because, I'm not born with all this confidence. Where do I get it from? Well, if you'll study, confidence comes from knowledge. It comes from learning. It comes from understanding. I believe that's one of the reasons why the Bible tells us, get knowledge, but in all of your getting, get an understanding. Because when you have an understanding of something, you're no longer fearful of it. And that's the way it works. When you understand, like, let's say, for instance, one of the things that when I was growing up that I was afraid of was these big heavy duty slicers. If you've ever seen one, you put the meat in or whatever, the cheese or whatever, and then it's got a spinning wheel, which is a blade, and you're literally pushing this thing across and it's slicing. It just slices. That thing made me fearful. Why? Because I saw somebody one time, they didn't have the safety guard on it and they did it incorrectly and they basically shaved the tips of their finger off. So when I saw that, naturally, I became fearful of it because I didn't understand that. Once I went to work at this particular place and they had one of those, and I was like, oh man, I had to use it because we had to slice deli meat. I got an understanding that if you use it properly and you put the safety guard on, the chances of you slicing your fingers off was much, 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 much more reduced. Dare I say it couldn't happen. So I got the knowledge, I got a learning, I got an understanding of the machine, and I was no longer fearful. That's exactly what's going to happen for you on today. Today, we're going to talk about that because fear is real, but I can overcome it. Now, the number one thing that I believe most people are fearful of is other people. Yep. What I told you before, that a lot of times people, I call them snipers because they will take cheap shots at you. And the truth of the matter is you have to understand this. And I really believe this with all of my heart. Most people are not against you. They're just for themselves. So when a person is for themselves, they may do things such as rejection. They may do things such as talk about you, but it's really, really not you because you're not the only one they're talking about. Okay. So I want you to get into this because here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want you to be fearful of somebody and then you get bitter towards them because that's not helping you. We are all human beings. And here's the truth of the matter. We're all human beings. We got pretty much the same interests, the same desires, and even some of the same problems. And if you understand this, this will help you with people. Yes, other people are important, but so are you. Yeah. Other people, they are important, but so are you. And you got to hold on to that. You got to remember that. Hey, listen, you're important. You're an important person. We talked about this before. Don't devalue, don't self-depreciate yourself. In other words, you got to understand your value. Don't fear people. I don't want you to fear them. Be understanding and treat them like you would like to be treated. And here's another thing. A lot of times you're going to do that and they're not going to treat you like you need to be treated. But remember what I shared with you before. You don't take the low road. You take the high road. Okay. So I'm going to give you some things to help you to overcome this fear of people. Now, I've already said they're important, but so are you. Your value, here's number one. Your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. It just doesn't. I got a friend that says, too bad for them that they didn't put me on their team. What do you mean? They didn't see the value in this person. Okay, maybe they didn't take the time to see the value. Maybe they just deep appreciate it or whatever. I don't know. But the point is this right here. They didn't see the value, but she still did. And she says, listen, that's their problem. That's not my problem. They missed out on a great opportunity. Boy, that's so true. Your value does not decrease based on somebody's inability to see your worth. You keep moving forth. You don't let that slow you down because they didn't see it. You know who you are. You know who you are. You know your worth. You know your value. Don't allow that to stop you. Here's the second one. Your self-worth is never tied to other people's approval. Just because other people don't approve of what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're trying to get it done, that doesn't change your self-worth. Other people, they may not approve of you for a whole lot of reasons. Don't worry about that, okay? You understand your self-worth. You understand your value, and you understand that your self-worth is not tied to somebody else's approval. Boy, that is good. So you don't You know you're not going to decrease your value because somebody else didn't have the ability to see how valuable you are. So you got to know also, too, your self-worth is never tied to somebody else's approval. Whether they give you the approval or don't give you the approval, you need to know who you are. You need to know your self-worth. Here's number 3. Your value is never diminished by another person's oversight. It happens all the time. People will look over you. People will reject you. And some people that are close and near and dear to you will do this. But you've got to be able to stand up on your own 2 feet and know I am valuable, I am wanted, I am needed, and I am not going to let your oversight mess me up and put me in fear of people. I'm moving forward, irregardless to how you see me, irregardless to how you don't see me and you oversighted me. Boy, this is some good stuff. This will help you. You got to know who you are. I like to say it like this. Your worth, never give a discount. Okay, here's number 4. Your inner peace. Oh boy, this is important. Your inner peace and your confidence does not depend on somebody else's external validation. In other words, inside of you is your peace. Inside of you is your confidence. Inside of you is your strength. And if you are letting that be determined by how other people validate yourself. If you're letting that happen and you're getting to a point where you're letting what other people say about some external person, external force, whatever the case may be, say about you, and you are fearful because, well, they may not like what I do. So get over it. Okay. They're going to be okay. And so are you. I'll go back to what I said before. They're not bad people. Sometimes they just do bad things. And some of it is by omission. They just, hey, you know what? They don't validate you. You don't need their validation. What you need to do is know my inner peace. Oh my goodness. My confidence. My self-worth is not going to be determined by what somebody else, what some coach, what some insignificant other person, whatever it is. You know, it may even be somebody like your spouse. You have to know that my inner peace and my confidence and my validation comes from above. And I am good to go with me. Boy, that's good. Now, oh man, here's another one for you. We're gonna push this one home. We're gonna nail this home. The greatest power lies in how you respond, not how others treat you. Now, wait a minute. Let's think about that for a minute. Your greatest power lies in how you respond, not in how others treat you. In other words, you've got to be bigger than the rejection. You've got to be bigger than the bad treatment. You've got to be bigger than the neglect. You've got to be bigger than all of those things that somebody would try to do to you. You cannot walk around in fear of people because they may say something or they may do something. Boy, a whole lot of things would be stopped if we understand we don't even have to respond. All we got to do is know who we are and keep moving forward. I share this all the time with people. And I learned this from somebody great. They were using the example and they said, listen, just because somebody calls you the N-word or somebody calls you this or somebody calls you that, you don't have to respond to that. If you start answering to it, then that's what you are. And so what you got to learn is you got to get beyond that. You got to be bigger than that. You got to be better than that. Just because somebody says it about you does not make it true about you. And you've got to be strong enough and big enough and bold enough to go the next step. Your greatest power is going to lie in how you respond. Control the things that you can control. Well, what can I control? I can control my actions and I can control my reaction. I can't control what they say. I can't control what they do, but I can definitely control how I respond. And how I respond, I'm taking the high road again. So to get over the fear of people, focus on your actions and your responses, not other people's behavior, because you're going to see all kind of stuff out here. We're living in a time, I was talking to somebody the other day, we're living in a time when people think they can say anything or do anything. And if you are moved and swayed by all of that, you're going to be an emotional shipwreck. You don't want to be that. You've got to know who you are. Don't be fearful of them. understand them, give them the benefit of the doubt, and keep moving forward. Get over this thing called fear of people. Because listen, as long as you're living, people are going to be around unless you decide to pack up and go to an island all by yourself. And if you stay there too long, somebody else is going to show up. My point to you and my encouragement to you on today is to get rid of the fear of people. I'm telling you, when you do that, oh my goodness, your life becomes so much simpler and so much easier and so much better. You're important. I want you to know it. Now, I took a little bit longer to go through this on today because I believe it's worth it. Once again, if this has helped you, share it with somebody because they need to hear it. And stop letting the fear of other people bother you. Go on and be your awesome self. Go on and be your great self. Go on and do big things. Go on and have that big thinking and watch great and wonderful things happen for you. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I hope this has helped you on today. But remember this right here. Remember this. You are the architect of your life. And I, Coach David, I believe in you. I'll see you next time. Bye.